the Panthers have the inside track to get Baker from the Browns, but one key offensive player for Carolina does not want to see that happen. A Panthers fan account posted about the report on Instagram of wide receiver Robbie Anderson commenting no on this possibility of him going there. I don't know how much weight that holds, but Joe Person from The Athletic reported that Baker's an option for the Panthers, but he's not the only guy on their list. I don't know why this is a good move for the Panthers. It feels very desperate.
Wow.
It feels desperate because you can draft someone if you want to.
Yeah.
And you have Sam Darnold. Is Baker better than Sam Darnold? Yes. For the money that you're paying for Sam Darnold and Baker, I don't know why that makes sense. You'd also have to give something up.
Desperate a little.
It does feel desperate. Well, but Matt Rule is in a hot seat kind of situation right now, so maybe desperation is what they're going to go for. It's not that I don't think Baker would be successful there. I just don't know what that does for the longevity of the franchise. And I do think that Baker is going to get a job somewhere. I don't think that Baker's career is over. But to me, if I'm the Browns, I'm holding on to Baker until the start of the season when someone is in a much more desperate situation.
Oh, no. He'll go for a draft pick. There's no question.
You have to deal with the toxicity of Baker Mayfield and his possible talking all offseason long, because this is what you have in Baker. We can pretty much assume at this point Baker's not going to be silent for the rest of the summer while they wait to see if he gets traded somewhere if this doesn't happen immediately.
Yeah, also, after the draft, you run out of options. So everybody that's not into Baker suddenly may consider Baker because the draft's over. Everybody's got their quarterback, and yours ripped up a hamstring in camp.
That's my point, yes.
Closer to the season you get, people's morals are flexible and their values change. So he'll get a starting job somewhere.
The market will change. If someone ends up getting injured, which happens every single year, nobody's wishing for that. That's just what happens. You'll have a better option. And if it doesn't happen at the beginning of the season, then maybe you hold on to him throughout the season. We still don't know what's happening with Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's going to play again for the Browns, but as far as him being quiet about it, I wouldn't bank on that.
Yeah. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line. This is the Herd Line News.
Well, there are lots of fun matchups in this year's NBA playoffs in the first round, which we don't normally get. And the 7-seed Timberwolves stunned the 2-seed Grizzlies with a 130-117 win in Game 1. Karl Anthony Towns had 29 points and 13 rebounds. And Anthony Edwards had a huge game, 36 points in his first career playoff game. And afterwards, Anthony Edwards spoke about the crazy environments that the fans created in the arena.
Just fans ignites my game when we're playing here.
What's that?
Because they talk so much trash. Yeah, it's just we talk. Even the kids was the worst today. Like the little kids, like he was 8 years old, 10 years old. Anthony, go sit down. You suck. It's just fun, man. Basketball is fun to me. I love it.
He has a great attitude on the environment there.
What's interesting is he was the number one pick in the draft, and when he came out, people said, does he love basketball?
Yes.
He was like, hey, I could play football. But he's really a unique body type. I mean, even the way his jaw, if that was a football press conference, he is such a physical presence. And one of the things that happens in the one-and-done culture is a lot of these guys come out of the college basketball. They're thin. They haven't been in a weight room. He's built like a 13-year veteran. He will go right after you physically. And so...
he's not afraid of contact.
Oh, no. He likes contract. He's physical. He looks... His body type is of a 12-year veteran, and that's why maybe he's built for the playoffs. He is built for this. But and what a great story is that the two youngest teams in the league are meeting each other. So somebody's got to come out of this thing.
Yeah, no, it's the perfect matchup, especially for the first round. John Moran had 32 points. Dillon Brooks added 24. We talked a little bit earlier about some of the dynamics that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to have to adjust to not having John Morant for the end of the season and him coming off of an injury and those adjustments. But I think this is going to end up being a very long series, but it's a really nice win for the Timberwolves.
I'll take Memphis, but I think it's going to go probably 6 or 7 games now.
Yeah, I think so too. Game 2 is on Tuesday. So someone who did not have the same reaction to the environment in the first game of the playoffs was Kyrie Irving, who put up 39 points. Very impressive performance against his former team in Game 1, Nets and Celtics. But he also flipped the middle finger to the fans throughout the game. And afterwards, Kyrie said he was just responding to what he was hearing from the crowd.
where I'm from, I'm used to all these antics and people being close nearby. It's nothing new when I come into this building, what it's going to be like, but it's the same energy they have for me, and I'm going to have the same energy for them. Somebody's going to call me out of my name. I'm going to look at them straight in the eye and see if they really about it. Most of the time, they're not.
Well, of course they're not. They're fans. They're not about it at all. None of them are, even if they're, Boston and they're tough or whatever.
I want to be about it once in my life.
Well, you've never been in a fight, right? Outside of
I think in junior high.
High.
Yes, in the mean streets of rural Washington, probably got into a scrap. I just want to be if when you say somebody is about it, does it mean a fight?
Yes.
I couldn't be about it at an Italian restaurant. Like if I ordered a second bottle of wine, could I say, "Hey, I'm about it tonight"?
Yeah, but you're not referring to violence. I would assume.
So that always means that.
Unless wine makes you violent. No, I think it just depends on the the tone in which you're using it, like that. Like you're just about it. You're about to have a nice, fun night.
Have you ever been about it?
I have, Colin, yes. I have. I'm a little bit more confrontational, I would say. But fans are not. That's not what it's about. Listen, this is Boston. Like, they're going to make it difficult for you. And Kyrie has a history in Boston.
Right.
A place that already tries to make it a miserable experience for anyone who steps foot there that's not for Boston. So I think fans should have the right to boo. We talked about this with Baker Mayfield, talking about he wants to go to a cubicle and boo someone. Like, it's not the same thing. I think fans should have the right to make it a hostile environment. I don't think they have the right to be disrespectful. I don't think they should call people outside of their names. Saying you suck or whatever, like, okay. I mean, that's like 8-year-olds are saying that. But I don't think that you should call people names. I don't think that you should be saying things that would ignite someone into violence, talking about people's families. Like, we know what the disrespectful line is.
Yeah.
You would not walk up to someone and say this to their face without the very firm knowledge that they will likely punch you in real life. But this is what Boston is. And you want this. You want some sort of animosity.
Well, it was the best game yesterday, and a lot of it was the intensity.
It was an unbelievable ending. And game 2 is Wednesday at 7 Eastern. Ben Simmons is expected to begin practicing this week.
Oh.
He's only been doing individual workouts up to this point.
Oh.
They're still hopeful he can make his debut this series. I maintain I don't know what kind of influence he would have on the court coming off of an injury like this and not play for a year. Yeah,
I maintain if you're a good teammate, you try to show up and give 8 minutes a half. I mean, it doesn't seem like that's a big...
I told you, I'm off the following and getting excited about when Ben Simmons is going to be back. Let us know when you're back. I mean, every week it's a different story, so we'll see. Well, one team has...
Quarterback Arizona not expected to play for the Cardinals without a new contract, and we predicted this. We said, unlike Dak or Tom Brady or Russell Wilson, he is more self-centered. He's more of a me guy. He will hold out, and Arizona will absolutely be trapped. Now, I would pay him because you have to. But, when you draft quarterbacks, there's a reason they sit down for these long interviews, is because you can really, as an organization, find yourself kind of marginalized. In Arizona right now, he wants to get paid early, and they don't want to pay him because they have a roster with some talented, expensive players. But we said this is the kind of personality he will hold out, and reportedly he is.
Where Colin was wrong.
I picked the Nets over the Celtics. I was almost not outraged, but surprised that the fans got into Kyrie Irving's head, and also that Boston forced so many turnovers and forced KD into a really kind of bad, suboptimal performance. I don't really buy the Celtics as a championship team. I think if Jason Tatum has an off night, they're sunk. But they play real defense. They play team defense. Their ball movement's excellent on the offensive side of the floor, and they gave the best player arguably in the game real trouble in KD.
Where Colin was right?
Even looking for a new job, Baker Mayfield could not help himself. He did a rambling, off-the-cuff podcast with a friend in which there was too much blame and not enough accountability. I've said this before. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. I think he has a bad personality for a franchise quarterback. It's not the cockiness, it's the inability, it's the insecurity from the chip on his shoulder to sometimes fall on the sword and just not say what you're thinking. He's like a linebacker playing quarterback. The interview was too long, a little bit too much victimhood. Should have been 20 minutes. Do it with a pro, get in, get out, and act like you want to correct mistakes and you're hungry for another opportunity. He's too talented to literally have no market. And this morning, he has no market.
Where Colin was wrong.
My feisty Clippers. I said, watch out. They're going to get into the playoffs through the play-in door, and they're going to be a handful, and they couldn't even win a play-in game. T-Wolves, Pelicans both beat them. Now, the Pelicans, Paul George wasn't available due to COVID, which is remarkable that he wasn't, staying out of any possibility of getting that. I like their coach. I like their roster. They've got a lot of different ways to play it. A bunch of players I like. But the owner, Steve Ballmer, has to be livid. He spent a fortune